Hey guys, how's it going? Hopefully all are doing well. And sorry I haven't posted for quite a while. It's been a couple months. And what a couple months it's been. Yeah, you might notice I got some change of scenery here. I am at a different shop. I am actually at my buddy's shop now. The previous shop that I was at, loved the workflow. Man, the jobs that I got every single day. Great cars to work on. Awesome. You never know what you could get. Got so much electrical, so much diag. But you know what? Because of various reasons, it was time for a change. So went to my buddy's shop. We've been friends for a while now. We worked together quite a while ago. And you know, he'd been kind of bugging me off and on throughout. Saying that, hey, he needed a guy, and you know what? I needed a change of scenery, so I decided to give it a shot. It's a pretty small shop, and my last shop was a little small too. This is a little smaller, but I don't mind small shops personally. This is a two-bay shop. The thing that's nice about it is its bays are side by side. It's not like the previous shop where it's one in front of the other. So you know what? Yes, maybe it's a small shop. You can get a lot of work done in a shop like this. You don't need a ginormous shop to get work done and to have a good time and learn along the way. Now, you know what? Let me give you a quick tour of the shop. Why not? Okay, so time for a quick tour of the shop. I got my big toolbox here, which is really just a workstation, place for me to store my diagnostic equipment. And, you know, a few kind of things that would otherwise be kind of shop supplies. I still haven't had a chance to organize stuff like, you know, I got my fuel injector or my fuel pressure tester kit, the ball joint kit down there. Yeah, what do you do? Some junk up on top. Shop press, that's not mine. You know, fans. Oh, she gets warm in here. And we got a whole bunch of junk here. That's not mine. Now this toolbox here, this is my toolbox that has all of my tools that aren't the typical go-tos, but these will be, sorry if I'm in the glare. Yeah, I don't know what I can do about that. These will be kind of things that I grab as I need, right? You know, the large Allen sockets, the Torx, stuff like that. Just kind of specialty stuff, but everyone's got to have a junk drawer. Specialty stuff that you occasionally need, right? Extra, these crow feet, they're really nice for doing things like EGR pipes. Saved my butt a few times, but anyways, right? Oh my God, this thing. Man, that is expensive. Blue Point from the Snap-on truck. I really like it. It's way bigger than I thought it was going to be. Reversible. Yeah, she's nice. Much more chooch than this, if I can get away with saying that, than this Power Fister Special, which, might I add, lasted, I don't know, 4 or 5 times trying out, and she gets smoking hot in here. Now, one of these days I'll dig out the receipt and return it for another one, because this one being the little 3-inch guy, this is the 4-inch disc. This can fit in some tighter spots. But anyways, just doing a quick tour, right? So this is just all kind of, not your go-to stuff, but, you know, once in a while you need a big pair of pliers, right? Yeah. Back down in there. This here, again, my cart, this is my go-to stuff. This is kind of everything that I use on a daily basis. I try to always keep this relatively tidy. The way that I like to operate is when I'm working, I throw everything on here. We have a really small shop. As you can see, there's no real benches on the side. Now, at the previous shop and some of the other shops that I worked at, people would kind of toss stuff, leave stuff on benches, kind of like over there. But the problem with that is you'd have garbage that would stay, or you forget things, right? Whereas if you throw everything on here, then you're forced to go through it. You're forced to clean things up. You're forced to see things. Oh crap, I forgot to put this wheel lock key back in. All this sort of stuff. So, yeah, I don't know what else I can say. I try to keep stuff to a minimum in here, just some basic pliers, some basic picks. These things are awesome. You know, the stubby wrenches, some stubby sockets, some stubby Allens, some stubby Torx. I was doing a lot of Volkswagen stuff, so I got these triple squares in here. Really, these could go in the other toolbox, but they fit in there nicely, so why not? You know, some basic wrenches, the stuff that I use, anything that I use on a regular. Just a few extensions in here, a few little basic punches, some basic wrenches, and just the basic tools. Just enough to try and keep this as light as possible. It still gets heavy, but anything that I'm doing, any daily job, 95% of the tools that I go to use are in this toolbox. Yeah, I gotta empty the garbage. These things are really handy. Catch your coolant, whatever. Much better than one of those guys there. Was kind of meaning to pick up a bigger one of these, but you know what, this one actually works quite well. The other thing too that this is quite nice for is if you are doing a drain and fill, a transmission service, you can catch everything in here quite nicely. It's easier to catch in here than one of those black guys down there. And then you can pour that into your measuring bucket, figure out exactly how much came out with, and gives you a good starting point as to what goes back. Our used coolant's way the heck outside, so I just fill that thing up till it's reasonably full around there and empty that out. Cardboard, right? Again, I worked with a lot of guys that are really bad at just, you know, tossing the cardboard on the bench or leaving a little bit of cardboard here, a little bit of cardboard there, a little bit of cardboard everywhere. Oh, my life became so much nicer once I got a bin to throw my extra cardboard in, and then once it gets kind of full, I take it out. Same thing too with metal. Knew so many guys that would just leave the, you know, used parts, the bad parts everywhere, and just one spot for the metal. Try not to let that go too long because that gets heavy. Anyways, this bay right here is kind of my bay. You know, some tire machines, the tranny jack over there. We got the AC machine, and this is it. Just a small shop. Now, there's caveats with everything, right? So unfortunately, this small shop here, I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, but this ground, yeah, maybe here, let me, if I can do this. Can you see that? It's not haunted. Yeah, really not level, which is most unfortunate. Come on. And broken up concrete everywhere. And my pry bar's sticking out. Broken up concrete. Well, you know what? It is what it is, right? There's a lot of things that's kind of nice about this sort of stuff if you like small shops. The other thing that's kind of unfortunate is the hoist not very high, but it does come with some good things. Let's look at right here. This one's a little easier spot. 3-stage arms, and the pads are spinners. Makes it so much nicer to put bigger vehicles and smaller vehicles on the hoist. So you try and get a BMW on a 2-post with 2-stage arms, you gotta park that thing perfectly straight. You gotta take the pads out, you know, use hockey pucks, use whatever to try, because you're kind of going on spots like right there. Yeah, pain in the butt. So this hoist, these Now I like symmetrical 2-post hoists with 3-stage arms and the spinning pads. These are the ones I like the most. Sure, asymmetrical hoists, like we got one over there, asymmetrical hoists, they're really nice because then, you know what, you can open the door much better, right? If you want to do kind of work inside, if you need to climb underneath the dash, whatever, yeah, it's a pain in the butt on these. But I like these so much more. I feel safer on them, all that business. But again, on the other side, we do have an asymmetrical hoist. And the thing that's really nice about this one, I don't like flip-up pads. Really can't stand flip-up pads. These pads, they do spin up and down a little tiny bit, not very much. But the thing that's really nice is if you look at that, they're in a channel. So they slide back and forth. Even on asymmetrical hoists, again, BMWs, things like that. Typically what would happen is if you don't park perfectly straight, the one arm, when you go, probably not this side, probably be the other side. Let's just kick you over here. Yeah, it'd be this side, because typically I found as the driver's side, I usually park a little too close. And if you go to kick the arm underneath, you wouldn't be able to get the pad to hit the pinch weld. But because this one here slides in so far, I've never had a problem on this hoist getting one of the arms underneath a pinch weld, regardless of the vehicle. Then, of course, the boss, my buddy, his stuff's a mess. Mine is too, but you know what? I try to keep my stuff tidy. So this is basically the shop, right? You know, we got your oil filters. We do a lot of quick service stuff, so we try to keep that all handy. Try not to wait for parts deliveries because those can take a while. And yeah, this is basically a small shop. I like working in small shops. A lot of work can get done here. There's not that much work that we can't do here. This is really all you need if you're starting off, lower overhead. You know, we change a lot of engines, which is fun too, because even when you order stuff, you still get stupid things like this. This is, the car is actually a 4-cylinder and they sent us a V6. So now we gotta wait for them to pick this up. Anyways, this is our shop. This is my home for right now, right here. So rather than just making you dizzy, I'll get back set up to my other camera and continue blabbing if you feel like listening to me a little longer. Yeah. Okay, so now that you've seen the shop, this is what my work life consists of. This is where I'm at right now. And yeah, getting back to, it's been a couple months since I posted anything. It really has been a couple months. And what a couple months it's been. Simple answer is I burnt out. I know it's a bit of a buzzword going around. Nothing to do with the pandemic or anything to do with that. Short answer to things is I got into this trade late. Now, I don't know if you're in this trade, whether you're a mechanic, a service advisor, what have you. I don't know if your experiences are the same as mine. I don't know if your area, your city, your town, wherever you are is the same. Maybe it's different. I would have to imagine that what I went through is probably not unique. Especially here, there's a lot of fragile egos amongst management. So, yeah, I got in this trade late, and you know what, it's, when you're an apprentice here, I'll mainly talk from here, you're not really a person. You don't have any playing cards. Bosses know that. You need that piece of paper to get a job. When you are licensed, you can get a job anywhere, right? Here, that's all they care about. Are you licensed? Great. Are you licensed? Do you have a heartbeat? And do you have some tools? Awesome. Have a job. If you don't have that, you can be a 10 times better tech than someone who's licensed. And trust me, I've seen some people that are licensed. Yeah, we won't go there. So anyways, you gotta get experience. If you don't have that piece of paper, and if you don't have experiences that you can put on paper, you can have some pretty rough times. When I started off my first real shop that I worked at, I got a lot of wonderful experiences from there. I was able to do a lot of diagnosing that you wouldn't normally do, which is awesome for me because that's my passion. As well, it was a small automotive shop, small transmission shop. I also got to do, I was a bit of a service advisor, a bit of everything. And I personally think being a service advisor helps you be a better tech. You understand that spectrum, you understand the customers, you're so much better at making reports that are easy to sell, right? You know what I've seen before when I was service advisors, the techs would just write off, shocks and struts, age, mileage due, stuff like that, right? Well, how are you gonna try and sell that to a customer? Anyways, blabbing. So I got all kinds of awesome experiences, but because I could do the customer stuff, because I could do diagnosing sort of stuff, I was more useful to the boss on small things, right? So I could easily be pulled off and do this and do that and help out on this. I never got an opportunity to do anything sizable. Me being who I am, I'm a thinker. When I started this trade, doing jobs, trying to make time, I struggled with that. It took me a lot more effort to get things done in a good amount of time than some of the guys that would just kind of walk in off the street, working out of the boss's toolbox over there. They get a job done quick. They wouldn't necessarily see this or this or this or this, and there'd be some mistakes on the job, but they would get the job done quick. And you know what, as far as the bosses were concerned, that's what they cared about the most because, anyways, I'm kind of rambling. So, and when I was going through my schooling, it was getting worrisome. I had a bunch of people in my class, in particular the one kid that I'll never forget probably, was in my 4th year class, my last year of the apprenticeship. And he was just losing his mind. He was working at a dealership, and he worked at a dealership his whole apprenticeship through. This is the last year. And the boss gave him nothing but tires and oil changes, because in a dealership, that's what you need. This was at a Hyundai dealership, right? So he was just losing his mind, super worried, because he knew the boss didn't really care for him, and he was worried, how is he going to get a job? He's licensed, you go get a job somewhere and they give him a big job, here, do this head gasket, pull this engine. All he's done are tires and oil changes. Every time at lunchtime, he would just be off to the side, like contemplating life sort of deal. He just had this look like, I don't think he kept on in this trade, whether he wanted to or not. I don't think he necessarily had much of an option. Now, hopefully he did. I don't know. But that's a very real thing, especially amongst dealerships. A lot of dealerships don't really care, here at least. I won't speak for others. You know what, they need quick lube guys, they need tires and oil changes and basic brakes and stuff like that. And once you become licensed, hey, guess what, your flat rate doesn't really matter for them, right? They're only paying you so much. So that was the situation I was in somewhat, that once I was at that one shop for a while, getting my experiences that were really valuable to me to make me a better tech, but I was missing out on the meat and potato stuff because of that. So I went to another job. I went looking for jobs that could give me that experience, give me that opportunity. And well, it took a few opportunities. It took a few places. I went to another job thinking that, hey, right after I left that place, I went to another place thinking that this is going to be a good place to get all kinds of experiences. Turns out that shop had 9 techs, 8 licensed, 9 guys, 9 bodies, 8 licensed techs, and I was the only apprentice. So Guess how many large jobs I got? I got nothing. And then eventually I found a job that was actually the last shop that I was at that really gave me opportunities to do a bit of everything, because I was kind of the only guy there doing that sort of work. And every single day was a job like that. And to try and catch up on was sort of missed time, it was 6 days a week. 6 days a week of no light days. There was never a time off. There was never a moment where you didn't have 5 other cars ready to come in. You had to fight to find time to sweep. As an old guy, a lot of people like some of the going rates here of what some people charge. It's crazy. We get so many people come in and they give us their quote that they got somewhere else, and we'd be scratching our head trying to figure out how they came up with it. So he had a reputation. People just flocked to him, but he couldn't get any work done. I was the one doing all the work. So I got tons of experience, but it was 6 days a week. Add on to that the occasional time where I have to work on my own car or try and do something at home, spend some time with my wife. Then, the YouTube, and don't get me wrong, I love the YouTube, and gotta try and make, not only is it a fun hobby, but you know what? Something down the way maybe, right? Who knows? Well, I ended up working 6.5 days a week, really, when you think about it. And it wasn't until various other personal reasons that shop no longer really became feasible. And then I talked to my buddy, and then yes, I initiated the process, gave that boss a 1 month notice. Unfortunately, I didn't give him a chance to really talk it over, because you know what, there was no real talking it over. It's just kind of one of those things. Life happens, right? It was time for a change. So as soon as that happened, as soon as I acknowledged that, okay, I'm moving to this shop, then I realized, hey, you know what, this 6 days a week, 6+ days a week, is too much. Definitely too much for me. And you know what, the last few days that I drove to that shop, I kind of felt drunk, really. I felt like I was ready to pass out while driving. That's kind of scary. Not good. Not good at all. So, so working here, it's not anywhere near the workload. The other guy, my buddy, he's he's the boss. He kind of runs the shop. He's more of the hybrid kind of guy. So of course, any big jobs that come by, I'm the one doing all that sort of stuff. So there still is a fair amount of heavy lifting, but there are times to catch a breather. There are times to catch your breath, all that sort of stuff. It's more or less a regular shop, and it's not really weekend stuff. Now, of course, occasionally I try to do some of this or tidy up or whatever, but it's nothing like my last shop. Well, you know what? Even with this shop not being as bad as the other shop, just in an 8-hour day, I went home and I ate dinner, watched a little bit of television, said hi to my wife, and kind of went to bed for a good part of a month. A little bit of an exaggeration, but it took a month to kind of catch up, to kind of start feeling like a human again. Because that thing of doing the 6 days, I mean, I had the shop I was at before that, had kind of a rotating schedule, because that shop was open 7 days a week, and we'd work 4-day weeks. So some days I would have 4 days off in a row. Well, the last year or so that I was at that shop, year to year and a half, on all my days off, I would go to the shop I was at, the last shop, that small shop, and I'd work the 2 freaking shops. There were times where I worked, 13 days in a row. There was a typical month I would have 3 days off. And then I got the job full time at the last small shop, the transmission shop. But yeah, 6 days a week. So too much. Now I felt like I needed it. I felt like I benefited greatly from the experience because it felt like I was able to condense a lot of stuff down. Thankfully, I got out of there before it took too much of a toll on me. I feel like I'm back at a decent level. So I can start making videos again. I can start kind of paying attention to things. I can feel human again. Of course, more changes. This is where I'm at. Been here for a few months, but I don't think it's working out. I think it'll be about another month or so, and I'll be off to another place. And you know what? A bit of an awkward scenario because you know your buddy, but that's life, right? Sometimes you try a thing. I don't think anything will affect between our friendship, how we view each other. But yeah, you try things, and sometimes differences of opinion, differences of whatever. It's just, yeah, not something I could fancy day in day out for year after year after year. So kind of ready to try another shop. The shop that I have lined up is a gorgeous shop. It's huge. Only a few guys. It's not. Still kind of a small shop mentality, at least how it's run, but the shop is huge. So looking forward to that if that pans out. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, just kind of wanted to mention a little bit of my story. Maybe you guys have experienced something similar. Hopefully, if you have, hopefully you managed to recognize it. Hopefully you managed to get out of there before it had too much of a toll on you. Because I tell you, you know what? When I was in the middle of it, I didn't recognize it. When, you know, even after almost 4 years of doing that, of working and having, you know, 2 to 4 days a month off, I felt fine. Right? You don't realize it because you're so busy. Go, 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 go. And then it's once you get a moment to kind of sit back that you have a hard time getting up. It's not good. It's not worth. Well, it's easy to say in hindsight afterwards. It's easy to say it's not worth it. But the truth of the matter is, sometimes you gotta go through hard times to get ahead in life. And all you can do is hope that you come out ahead. Hope that you can keep your head above water, and hopefully at the end of those hard times, hopefully those hard times are a discrete chunk of your life, and hopefully you can get past it into more sustainable times. So hopefully it wasn't too much of a, I don't know what you want to say, kumbaya, woke, whatever. I'm human. We're all human. It is what it is. But I wanted to get this off my chest, and I don't know, maybe along the way, maybe if you're in a similar situation, maybe you haven't had a chance to kind of sit back, maybe it can help you out. Maybe you haven't realized it, because you know what, if you're anything like what I've gone through, if your area is anything like here, when you're starting off, you got no options. You're not a human. If you get a job somewhere, you might not be able to get another job elsewhere that easily. You might have to tough it out until you can get something that you can put on paper, whether that's, you know, a year or so, right? Because if you start off, if you're a brand new apprentice, and you start off, well, what if the job that you work at, what if the boss is just a complete SOB? What if he's just the meanest guy ever, but on paper it shows that you work at this job, and after 6 weeks you've had enough, you have to leave, right? Well, you're definitely not getting a reference. It's no matter what, it's hard to get a reference in this job, because when you leave, it creates a whole bunch of work for the boss. It's difficult to fill bodies. It's easier to have people who you have, right? So when you leave, you tend to be annoying to the boss. They don't like giving references. But when you've only worked somewhere, say you get someone who's just completely mean, it's an awful place, all you can put down on there is 6 weeks, right? Well, that doesn't look good. You go get another job elsewhere. Maybe the only place you can get a job at is another place that's pretty awful, that's just churning through people. Maybe that place you last 2 months, 3 months, right? Well, again, that doesn't look good. And before you know it, you got this resume, you got no real experience, and it looks like, oh, you're not sticking around. So you can get trapped in this trade. If you don't find something, some people, hopefully it's you, hopefully it's people they get a job, the first job takes care of them, they get their piece of paper, they get their resume, and then maybe afterwards they look for something a little more specialized for themselves, and everything's wonderful. I've worked with a bunch of guys that had only worked at a couple shops in their life. The one guy worked at a couple shops ago, worked at that shop for 45 years. It's the only shop, it's the only place he's ever worked at in his life. He was in his mid-60s or so, right? So, hey, that's awesome. But if you don't get that experience, things can suck. Because sometimes you have no choice. You have to just grin and bear it until you get something on a piece of paper. But the only thing I'll say is, if you find yourself in that situation, don't forget to realize that it can become really easy to feel constantly stuck in that situation, get so used to that once you finally do get a piece of paper, you don't have to deal with stuff that you don't want to. You don't have to deal with a place that's just wearing you down. Life's too short, they say, but no one wants to be homeless. Anyways, hopefully it's not too rambly. Didn't really mean to be rambly, but yeah, just kind of wanted to talk about my life a little bit. Maybe it can help you out a little bit along your ways. You got anything similar to that? Let me know down below. If you're struggling with anything in this trade, hey, let me know down below. I'm gonna start trying to post again, or at least I'm definitely gonna be looking back to the comments and trying to talk to you guys a little more. I kind of checked out for a bit, but I do enjoy it. I don't want to give up on this because it's fun. So yeah, you know what? If you're going through a hard time in this trade, leave a comment down below. As well, if you are an apprentice and you're going through a hard time, one of the things I can highly recommend, if you don't know anyone in your area that can help you out along the way, keep an ear out for your tool reps, right? Hopefully you have one, whether it be Snap-on, Mac, or Matco, or whoever. Hopefully you have one guy who's a decent guy, right? I was lucky. My Snap-on rep was a wonderful guy, and he's helped me out a lot. If you can find someone like that in person, that's awesome, right? Because we all need a little bit of encouragement once in a while. But you know what? If you can't find that too easily in person, one of the things I can recommend, and this guy helped me out a little bit too, is Flat Rate Master. Because what I experienced a lot is you get the guys that are experienced and they act like what you're struggling with, that they have no idea why you're struggling with. You're the only person struggling with that, and it's obviously because you're not good enough. No one's ever struggled with that before, and just what is wrong with you? You need to be better, right? This is the sort of stuff that's so easy to run into that's all you hear. It is really, really, really therapeutic to hear from some other people that are the peers of those people, other people who are top-notch techs. It's really good to hear from those kinds of people that, you know what, it's normal, it's okay to mess up, it's okay to not know things. Of course you're not going to know things when you start. And yeah, I know when I had some hard days, It made me feel better tuning into him, because it made it feel like here's a guy that is easily as good as the shop foreman that I worked with, or better, and he would have your back. That's what it felt like. And you know what? We all need to hear that time to time, so we can continue going and hopefully get to a better place in life. So I've rambled enough. Again, I'd love to hear your experiences. I'd love to hear kind of what you went through. Are you an apprentice right now? Are you licensed? Did you have a good time? Did you have a bad time? Have you been at a lot of shops? Have you had a hard time finding a shop that you can call home? Or what have you? You know what? Leave some comments down below. Yeah, if you made it this far, bless your heart. So, without further ado, just want to say thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now. Don't wear yourself out too much. Get some sleep tonight.